Listen, I don't know who needs to hear this, but pesto pasta just hits different. It's quick, easy, and low-key might change your whole entire mood. Pair it up with a crispy piece of chicken and you have a restaurant-quality meal in under 30 minutes. Pull up a seat, get cozy, and let me show you how to make this delicious recipe. Now let's get started by seasoning our chicken breast. I always start with a generous seasoning of salt, and if you want the exact measurements, check out the description for the full recipe. Now season it with some black pepper. I use a lot because I like that peppery taste. Follow that up with 2 essential powders for seasoning. Add some garlic powder and then follow it up with some onion powder. Now, I like my chicken to be slightly on the spicier side, so here I added some Cajun seasoning. I started using this Cajun style all-purpose seasoning from Kingsford, which really gets the job done in my opinion. Now mix that until it's well combined. I know somebody is probably looking at this like, well, hey pal, where are your gloves at? Well, my friend, I would say that as long as your hands are clean, that it's perfectly okay to use your hands. And of course, once you're done mixing the seasonings in, thoroughly wash your hands with soap and water. We've got those beautiful chicken breasts seasoned, so now let's get them breaded and ready to fry. But first, let's get our workstation set up properly. You can use plates or bowls for this process. I've got these long plastic bowls that I grabbed from the Dollar Tree to make my job a little bit easier. Hopefully it makes yours easy as well. Now in the first bowl, I added 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Seasonings are pretty much going to be the same that we used to season the chicken earlier. You know, your salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder, and then Cajun seasoning. Now give it a generous whisk until it's well combined. Our second bowl is going to host our wet batter. Grab 2 large eggs and add them to the bowl, avoiding adding any shells to your mixture. Add your favorite hot sauce and don't mind the messed up label, but I like Louisiana hot sauce for the flavor. Add about a tablespoon of the sauce into the eggs and begin to whisk to beat those eggs down. Let's put that to the side and work on our third and final bowl. For this step, I require 2 types of breadcrumbs. The first is going to be Italian breadcrumbs because they come already seasoned. The second is Japanese style panko breadcrumbs. This will help give your chicken that nice crispy crunch once it begins to fry. Once you get that mixed up, we can begin our dredging process. I always say to make your job a little easier, use 1 hand for the dry and 1 hand for the wet. Start by taking one of your chicken breasts and coat it in the seasoned flour. Make sure that each and every crevice is coated with that seasoned flour. Next, take your chicken breast and quickly cover both sides with the egg mixture. This is going to help bind the breadcrumbs to the chicken. Lastly, take that same chicken breast and coat it in the breadcrumb mixture. Once all of your chicken is breaded, simply place it on a baking sheet and place to the side while we work on our pasta. I got a pot of water to the boil, and instead of salting the pasta, I recommend adding a chicken bouillon cube. When I say this takes that flavor game to the next level, I'm not playing with y'all. Plus, once you add that pasta water later in the recipe, that extra flavor will help that dish come together quite nicely. Now in the meantime, I'm going to add some oil to a large pan just to give it a chance to get to temp. This ensures that everything that I make cooks and finishes at the same time. Now while that oil heats up, I'm going to add my penne to the boiling water, making sure that I break it up to avoid it from sticking. We're basically going to cook this until al dente. Now my oil has reached an internal temperature of 365 degrees, and now we're ready to pan fry our chicken. My pan is big enough to fit all of my breaded chicken breasts, but be careful not to overcrowd your pan. Overcrowding it may prevent your chicken from getting crispy. It may cook, but it will come out a little bit soggy, and we don't want that. Fry until it gets golden brown and crispy like this, or until it reaches an internal temperature of 165 degrees. Now after draining the pasta, I use that same pot and I'm going to toast some ginger paste and some garlic paste. Quickly stir it in that pan to avoid it from burning. Toss in half a stick of butter, about 4 tablespoons, and mix it into the paste. Now if you don't have garlic or ginger paste, that's perfectly fine. You can use fresh garlic and fresh ginger. This just makes it easier in my opinion. Once that butter melts, add in red bell peppers, green bell peppers, and red onion. I had some from prep left over the other day that I didn't want to go to waste. I know someone in the comments is going to frown upon canned pesto, but in this economy, I'm not spending $10 for pine nuts and $14 for olive oil. This can cost me $5 and it gets the job done. From scratch pesto is ideal for authenticity, but when it comes to feeding your family, we want you to cook smarter, not harder. I usually start with a little over half a cup of pesto and mix it into my vegetables to toast it a bit. Now for the added razzle dazzle, I added 2 tablespoons of chili oil, and of course you can always add more depending on your spice tolerance. Add in your heavy cream, and now you can add some of that shredded Parmesan cheese. Once that's done, you can add your pesto into the pot. Mix it so that all that sauce coats your penne noodles. I added a couple more tablespoons of pesto sauce just because, and then I added a little bit of that reserved pasta water a little bit at a time to emulsify. That pasta is looking quite scrumptious, and now we can plate our food. Took one of my favorite blue bowls, which is also my favorite color, and I added more than a few spoonfuls of that pasta. For presentation and convenience, I sliced my chicken breast across the grain and placed it on top of the pasta. Then you just take a little bit of sauce and place it on top, and when I tell you this was a hit, this was a hit. Really, that's all I can say about that. Well, my friends, that's it for this episode. I hope I helped you find a recipe that you can make for your loved ones at home. If you like simple, easy, and delicious recipes like these, hit that subscribe button. Click on the bell icon to be notified of my videos and live streams. The full recipe is in the description below. Make sure you follow me for more recipes like these, and until the next time we feast, peace.